You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to episode 230 of Podketeers. Have you ever been to downtown Disney in Anaheim and thought, it'd be great if we had... Well, we think you're going to like this episode. We have a roundtable discussion about things we would like to change at downtown Disney to plus up the area. We also talk about Luxo Jr. joining Pixar Pier, the return of the Share Your Ears campaign, and we were prominently featured in a Disney blog video for City of Hope's Walk for Hope event. And by prominently featured, I kind of mean that we just happened to be in the background when they were filming the event. So we're in a really pixelated shot, but it was still super cool that we were able to recognize us in the crowd of thousands for the event. That video and more info on things that we talk about in this episode can be found at podketeers.com/230. You can also join the conversation by leaving a comment on the blog post for this episode, Facebook, Instagram, or on Twitter. Just search for Podketeers. If you want to connect with any of us, all of our personal links can be found at podketeers.com/team. Plus, if you like the YouTube videos, you can head on over to youtube.com/podketeers or youtube.com/Disney for2 to check out some of the videos that we have up on those channels. Plus, if you like any of them, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channels, and ring that little bell icon for notifications whenever new videos are posted. Remember, there's a lot of holidays that are coming up soon. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, Tuesday. I don't know, you might just want to get a gift for somebody. And if you shop on Amazon, it would help us greatly if you start that journey by going to podketeers.com/Amazon before your next purchase. On that page, you're going to find a huge Amazon button that when you click on it, will take you over to Amazon using our special link. Anything that you buy may earn us a small commission as a thank you from Amazon because we mentioned them on the podcast and you went through our link. To everyone that's doing that, thank you so much for that added support. It truly means a lot. Speaking of meaning a lot, I want to send a shout out to our podcast, Fairy Godparents, because it's their monthly support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. If you would like to become a member of the FGP Squad, as they like to call themselves, or just want a little bit more information, head on over to podketeers.com/FGP. So that's it. This is episode 230 of Podketeers. Remember that old commercial that used to come out for Disney during the holidays? The Merry, 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 Merry Christmas. It's Christmas time at Disneyland. Celebrate.
No.
Nope.
No, I don't remember that.
Seriously?
Can you keep singing? Can you keep singing it? Maybe I'll remember more.
Are you kidding me right now?
I do remember those, yes.
Those were around the time that I was getting super, super serious about the holidays at Disneyland. And those commercials are partially the reason why I love Christmas time at Disneyland so much.
That's
and so
awesome.
anytime I start seeing the snow getting put on the castle and I know that we're gearing down October and Halloween time is ending, I start hearing that theme in my head. And then I just get all warm and fuzzy, and I think to myself, when am I going to go back to Disneyland? And then I'll ask Lynette, when are we going back to Disneyland? And then she'll ask me, why are you talking like that? Why don't you just ask me like you normally would? I was like, okay, when are we going back to Disneyland? She's like, probably this weekend. So... I'm kidding. But this weekend does kick off the holiday season at Disneyland. I'm super excited. It's my favorite time of year. I have made no secret of that. I know you guys are big Halloween fans, and that's all good. That's, to all their own. But this is my time.
I love Christmas time at Disneyland as well.
Yeah.
More than Halloween. I just love holidays at Disneyland.
Yeah,
something
you
special
can be
about
fans
it.
of more than one holiday, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. But I'm glad you brought it up, Hazen, because I have spent all of today at the parks.
Have you really?
I literally just drove back to record, and I got to tell you, this is my very first Christmas time at Disneyland ever. I'm all in, dude. It is so great.
Isn't it?
I love all the music. I love all the decorations.
Wait a minute.
Check it. I even got my sip and savor
Yeah.
passport.
I got mine
Yeah,
yesterday.
buddy.
I've used a bunch of tabs already. I am all in, man. This is great. I love it.
How did we
But
miss
did you
each
get
other?
your alien popcorn bucket?
No, I didn't get that. We saw them. Everybody had them, though. They were everywhere.
I was going to say, I was at the park all day today, too, and I'm surprised we didn't hit each other. We didn't see each other.
There's so many people at the
Yeah.
park today. It's crazy busy.
Was it?
But yeah, it's nuts over there. Because, I mean, it's the first weekend of the Christmas season, so it makes sense. I, didn't expect some of the stuff. I did not expect to walk into the Esplanade and hear, classic Christmas carol songs and, pop Christmas songs. That was great. And then, a lot of the in-park songs are, just Disney-fied versions of Christmas songs. I love all that. The decorations are amazing. Melissa, did you see the windows on Buena Vista Street that were Halloween are now turned into Christmas?
I didn't
Oh,
really.
you got to check them out. They're awesome.
It was it was kind of packed coming in, so I didn't get a chance to see them.
Nice. I'm speechless. The Christmas time there is so cool. I'm totally in. I'm feeling very jolly.
I believe they're the same as last year's windows on Buena Vista Street.
Are they?
Oh, really? I didn't
see
know
any-
that they did.
I didn't see
them.
anything new.
Okay.
When I was there yesterday. But I'm
Man.
excited to try more of the food.
Yes.
What did you try today?
We did 4 things today. The first thing we tried was the chorizo queso fundido, which was delicious. And then after that, we got the Nashville hot fried turkey with pickles, and that got 5 stars from both of us. That was fantastic.
Really? That's the one that I tried. It wasn't for Festival of Holidays. It was for the last thing that they did in the spring. They had that one, and all I remember was, ooh, instant heartburn.
No. Maybe they got the equation right this time. I don't know. Because it was delicious. It was perfectly juicy, perfect amount of spice. It was so good.
That's good, because all I remember from that one is that they looked like it was tossed in a chili oil, like a spicy chili oil, but the oil was just so heavily laid on that it was just ungodly burning with no flavor. And I'm all for eating spicy food as long as there's flavor attached to it.
Right.
To get spicy food just for the burn is kind of ridiculous to me. And so I really love hot sauces and spices that will give you that heat, but will add something to the flavor profile of what you're eating.
Yeah. The last thing we tried was the holiday stuffing mac and cheese. And that was very tasty as well. And I got to tell you, that one gives you, of the things we tried, by far the best portion. Because, they serve it in those little kind of cardboard little trays or whatever.
Yeah.
And they basically filled it up with that mac and cheese.
Nice.
The other ones are kind of like little portions that sit in the middle of that tray. But with the mac and cheese, it was full. So it was definitely more bang for your buck.
That's the one thing with food festivals, though. There's been times where we've gone with Hazen, and some of the food that we tried, we're like, oh my gosh, you get a lot of food. And then the next day you come back, you're like, oh, this is like a quarter of what they've given before.
It
so it really depends on the
who's
cast
serving.
member. Yeah.
The other thing that's cool right now is that while supplies last, if you're an AP holder, they also have limited AP buttons that they give you when you go to each of the little food huts.
Yeah.
And they're all different colors.
Yeah, they're all these little different Mickey icons that they've created for the Festival of Holidays. So that's kind of fun too. You can collect buttons along the way. So
yeah, that seems
really
to be
neat.
Pretty standard for every one of the festivals that they're doing.
Remember, it's Gavin's first time.
Yeah,
No,
this
I know,
is the first one that I've kind of jumped all in on. We showed up this morning, we saw all the food huts, and Charlie and I just kind of both at the same moment got excited about it. And we're like, should we just do this? And we decided to, and we had fun all day picking out the foods we wanted to eat. And we've got plans for our next few visits to go back and what tabs we're going to use. And it's all very exciting.
Only thing I recommend, Gavin, is look at the food coming out first before you get it, so then you know if it's kind of worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we've already been doing that a little bit, kind of scoping
Cool.
it first. Yeah, that's smart.
How many tabs did you say you have left? 3? 4?
No, we got two. What are they called? Sip and savor passes.
Okay, that
We
was
got
my
two of
follow-up
those.
one
question.
each?
So each of you got
and
one.
We each got one, and so there's 8 tabs on each, and we used 4 tabs today, so we've got 12 left.
Oh, right on. Right on.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get a chance to go tomorrow because I did have a plan of going today, and very last minute, my father-in-law ended up getting tickets to go watch the NASCAR NHRA finals and at the Pomona Raceway. And he's been wanting to take our kids forever. And so he got the tickets like a day or two ago, and we all went for the afternoon, and we kind of spent the day with him, just kind of hanging out and watching cars race and everything. It was pretty cool. So we didn't get a chance to go to Disneyland, obviously, because now we're recording. But the evening time at Disneyland for Christmas, it's so
I can't wait to see
beautiful.
that.
And then we get Believe in Holiday Magic. Remember the caring, a season worth sharing. Believe in the magic in our lives. Sorry, it's
That was really good.
Is that fireworks or parade?
that
What
is
is
the
that from?
fireworks show.
Okay.
Believe in Holiday Magic.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely one of my favorite songs on the entire resort during the holiday season. So I'm so
awesome.
excited.
Well, I'll tell you that Charlie right now is still at the parks, and so she's getting to experience the nighttime holiday magic before me. So it's kind of a first in our family that she gets to do a Disney thing before me. So
Wow.
I'm a little
For
envious.
her.
Tell her to watch the fireworks.
You should
She
text
might.
her
Well,
and tell her to look out for AJ.
As soon as we hit stop, I'm headed back over there. So
Oh, right on. Right on.
we've got a fast pass at 9:20, so let's
Nice.
keep it going, guys.
So you hear Gavin, guys. Let's take forever to record this.
Wait, time out. I have to do something real quick.
All right, well, let's jump in then. Before we get into anything else, I just want to say thank you again to everyone that donated to our Walk for Hope fundraiser over the last couple of months. We raised just under $700 out of our $1,000 goal, and all of that money is going directly to help find a cure for women's cancers. This walk was special to many of us for many different reasons. You know, Melissa talked about why it was special to her in the last episode. You know, I've mentioned that we've lost a couple of people in our office to different types of cancer in the last several months. So the walk took on a whole new meaning for us, and we really appreciated all of the support behind it. It was super cool to see Mickey and Minnie dancing around on stage, to see Bob Chapek there, and we were on TV! It was super cool that Disney put up a video on the Disney Parks blog, and you can kind of see me, Gavin, and Melissa in the background. If you follow us on Instagram, you may have seen it in our Instagram story last week. We've put little circles around each of our heads, and we're totally pixelated, but trust us, it was us.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we talked a little bit about it, but quickly recap your experience, Gavin and Melissa.
Yeah, I thought it was such a great time. It was a very inspirational time, you know, very heartwarming to see so many people united to raise money to, you know, help find a cure for this disease, which has ravaged people's lives for, you know, so long. And just to be in the place where they're doing the research and to actually see some of the patients, you know, waving at us from the hospital, and to see so many survivors present. It was just a really moving day and really inspirational. And I'm so thankful to the Podketeers nation that, you know, helped put their money forth to, you know, help us contribute towards this cause. Hugely grateful to everybody out there who did that, and you know, every little bit counts. So you know, I'm very proud of us as a team, and you know, hopefully we won't need to do this for too many years in the future, but we'll be there to do it for as long as we need to.
Totally.
Very well said.
Very well said. It was an emotional walk, but it was so worth it. So worth it. Knowing that we were just making a change. I mean, we had a goal, but you know what? We can't just thank you enough for helping us out with everything from donations to likes to reposts, you name it. It all helped us out. So,
Right.
again, thank you.
If you guys want a little bit more information about Teamboat Willie and some of the things that we do, head on over to teamboatwillie.com. Super easy to remember because it's like Steamboat Willie, toot toot, without the S at the beginning. There you'll find a little information about how the team started, some of the events that we've been a part of, and as of this episode, we're still accepting donations for Walk for Hope. It's going to be active for another week or two, so if you want to drop a quick donation to try to help us still reach that $1,000 goal, head on over to teamboatwillie.com, click on the link to donate. Doesn't matter who you donate to. I know I've joked around about it in the past that you can choose me as your favorite, but you can donate to the team, to me, to Gavin, Melissa. All the links are there. And to everyone that's already done it, thank you very much. Okay. Earlier this week, looks like Disney relaunched their Share Their Ears campaign, where they're going to be donating money to the Make-A-Wish Foundation for every post that they see on social media. I'm ready. I was trying to select which ears I'm going to use, guys. I think later this week we'll post like a group one, on our Instagram account so that we're all represented in our post. Do you guys know which ears you'll probably be using in your post?
I want to say yes. I have to choose.
She's going to coin flip, basically.
Whatever's I'm in the mood for. So I'm like, do I want to go with shiny? Do I want to go with this one? I don't know.
Just wear all of them.
The idea is that they'll donate whatever an amount per post, right?
$5
that goes
I guess,
up
to $2 million.
So
they're basically going to be doing $2 million.
I would say we should each post as many as the number of pairs of ears that we own. Why stop and pick one when if you've got 10 and you do 10 separate posts, that's 10 separate donations that Disney's going to make.
I like that.
Interesting.
I mean, let's make this thing viral, man.
I don't think we have to do that.
No, we're the leaders of the Disney community. Let's
I
do
can
it.
lend you guys some.
Yeah.
So we'll rotate our ears. I'll take a picture with all of mine, and then I'll rotate them to VJ. He'll do the same thing. He'll give them to Gavin. Gavin will do the same to Melissa. Melissa to AJ, and we'll just do the same thing with all of our ears.
Just a round robin.
So at some point, the three of us guys will have the rose gold ears
Yes.
in a post.
I ain't scared. I'll rock the rose gold.
It goes with my complexion and my beard. So we're going to go ahead and post a little bit more information about that. If you don't know about it, head over to podketeers.com/230. You'll find a little bit more information about the initiative, hashtag share your ears, and a little bit more information about what Disney's doing for the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And to everybody that's already sharing, thank you guys. I know it's not our initiative, but it's a super cool one, and it's a really fun way to repost your ears. I know that in some locations at the park, they do have walls set up with the hashtag and a couple of Mickey icon ears that you can take a picture at. So if you just don't like the way your room looks, or you don't like your wall or your door, and you don't have your own hashtag purple wall at home, go to Downtown Disney or California Adventure or Disneyland, and you'll find a Share Your Ears wall there.
Yeah.
California Adventure, since we're talking about it, it looks like our little friend has finally made an appearance at the entrance of Pixar Pier.
Yes.
Who are we talking about,
We're
Gavin?
talking about our little lampy friend. I actually saw him for the first time today, and I do like what they did. I think that it was a really smart move to make him, move and, twist and turn, kind of like the animated short did for Luxo Jr. And I haven't seen it at night yet, so I haven't seen it illuminated, but I like the way they've animated him. I assume it's a him. I don't know why. It could be a girl. Who knows? But I like it. I think it's really cool. I think initially I assumed he was going to be hopping up there because, we're conditioned to seeing him hop into the frame for the intro to every Pixar thing. But in the short, he doesn't necessarily hop the whole time. So I don't know. I think they did a great job animating it. I think it's a nice little touch. Again, it's just weird that little details are just slowly rolling out for Pixar Pier as we go into the middle of next year when it's supposed to be finished. I would have thought that would have been one of the key things that would have been there from day one. But I'm glad they finally got to it, and I think it's a pretty cool detail.
It does seem weird, right? It's like, why isn't the Luxo lamp up there? We got parts coming in from across the ocean. We're waiting. They're on a Freightliner. They'll be here. Don't worry. What does it do at night?
So you see he lights up. I'm assuming it's Luxo Jr, right? It's not.
Yeah.
Okay, because he's the one that jumps around and everything. But
Right.
he moves around, or his head moves around, and the light gets brighter and dimmer. And then sometimes when the other lights around the marquee will do like this little pattern, and then it lights up super bright. So it's kind of so cool if you just sit there and watch it for like a minute, you know?
That's awesome.
You'll find something different that's showing. So yeah, I mean, or you can check out our Instagram post and you can watch it for 30 seconds.
Nice.
And you see this person go, why is he taking pictures of a lamp?
That's
Come
funny.
on, says the non-Disney fan.
Right.
Hashtag non-Disney fan. Or hashtag non-Pixar fan.
Yeah.
Because they could be Disney fans, but maybe they didn't grow up with Pixar stuff.
Fair.
How can you not grow up with any Pixar stuff?
I don't know. I'm just trying to defend the guy.
No, don't defend him.
VJ, you're asking the guy who watched Star Wars for the first time like 3 years ago.
This is true. This
True
is
that.
true.
So
True that.
it is possible.
True that. Hey, I'm glad you brought that up because it looks like earlier this week there was an earnings call that Bob Iger was a part of, and Disney had some amazing news about how they did in the last quarter, how they did overall last year. But there was a revelation that, we had talked about the Disney streaming service coming up late next year. And originally we had reported from what we had heard that it was going to also be called Disney Play, which was super confusing because the app has the same words in it. So we thought there was going to be a little bit of confusion. Looks like the official name is now Disney Plus. It also looks like Disney's going to be investing a little bit in Hulu as well, which I thought was pretty interesting. And the other news that, ties into what Gavin said about me watching Star Wars for the first time was that we're getting a Cassian series. And Cassian Andor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cassian Andor is his name from Rogue One. He's the character that Diego Luna played in Rogue One. How exciting is this for you, Gavin, as a Star Wars fan? Bob Iger himself came out and said, there's a little bit of Star Wars overload right now. The movies aren't doing so well. Why does this feel that it's going to be different than the Star Wars overload that we're getting right now?
Well, I'll tell you. I feel that the overload has come from the side movies. From the non-saga movies, like Rogue One and Solo, and, there's plans for a bunch more. And I think that is where they get into the overload territory, where, people aren't going to go to the movies to just see extra Star Wars movies as much as they are going to go see those main saga films, right? And I've always thought that if you want to get into telling some of the backstories of some of the characters we know from the movies, they've always had the realm of books that has done that already. Many, many series have been written about Han Solo, Boba Fett, the Stormtroopers, the Skywalker family, on and on and on and on. And that kind of serialized storytelling, to me, works better in a television show format. Kind of like what Marvel has done on Netflix with a lot of those shows, telling the stories of these characters. And I feel like they would have done better with Solo if they had created just a 13 episode Solo arc that they made a show out of, and if it's really successful, maybe they do a season 2, but if not, then maybe they do another character. And so this idea of a series to tell us more of the story of Cassian, I think is a way better vehicle than, trying to give him a solo film,
Right.
So that excites me, and that's the kind of content that they're going to need to make their service really competitive with these other services that are coming up with their own original content. So I think it's a great move. Along with the name change, I think the idea of Disney Plus and that logo that they have that's kind of reminiscent of, the Tinkerbell sparkle going over the castle in that arch. And maybe they can have a top VIP tier that's like Disney Plus Ultra or something like that.
Plus Ultra.
Right? So I think all of these are really cool, positive signs that I think what they're going to come up with is a really, really good product for Disney Plus.
VJ and Melissa, what do you guys think of the streaming service and the announcement of this Star Wars series coming to it?
I'm excited for the name. I'm just looking forward to everything. I need to see Rogue One again because I really don't remember a lot. But I will take new Star Wars. I will take new things. I love different stories, different sideline stories and whatnot. I'm pretty excited. I mean, I'm looking at it through the eyes of just the fan who just wants more of something. Overall, I'm pretty excited for it. I just learned a lot from Gavin right now.
I'm excited for this as well. The one thing I like about streaming services like Netflix is being able to binge watch everything. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where a lot of series or television is going towards now. Because a lot of series that you watch on DirecTV, they already have 3 or 4 or 5 episodes already released instead of just the one and doing a weekly thing. So I'm all about that, being able to binge watch. I like the fact that it's going to be Marvel, Disney, Pixar, and all these other National Geographics. But I'm excited for the Loki series. Hearing about that,
he announced.
Yes.
I was like, ooh. And I know a lot of girls are going to be excited about that too. So, I mean,
and a lot of men, let's be fair.
I'm actually excited about that one, and I'm not a Marvel guy, but that'll be cool.
But it is going to be interesting to see how many of these are going to be tying into the actual MCU or the Star Wars universe, or or this is just going to be its own little spin-off,
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You don't think it's going to be all the same?
One of the biggest disconnects that's happened with Netflix having Marvel series is that they don't necessarily talk to each other. So even with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that was an ABC property. That's actually Disney.
Right.
There was a little bit of a disconnect as far as what happened in their universe and what happened in the overall MCU. And, I mean,
but I thought
they
it all
had
tied
Easter
in.
eggs. Kind of. They had these things that kind of made it tie in, but there was never big official story arcs that made them fully tie in. They were still kind of their own deal. And Kevin Feige wasn't fully involved with all of those, especially the ones on Netflix. So the biggest difference now is that I think when they're all under the same umbrella, they're all going to tie in just seamlessly to the overall MCU as they haven't in the past.
Gotcha. So Netflix is going to be losing all their Disney stuff, correct?
They're slowly losing it.
Because I know some of the Marvel series on Netflix, like Luke Cage and what's his name, Golden Fist, Iron Fist,
Yeah.
Iron Fist.
They those series were canceled, or they're not renewing their seasons. True.
Yeah.
Did I read that
that's
correctly?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or are they moving to Disney Plus and having a new?
No, Disney Plus has the option to start them up again, but yeah, they're not. They haven't announced that they're doing that yet.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Either way, excited for it. I don't know how much it's gonna be, but
We'll
be like,
still
ooh,
pay.
$30.
It'll be competitive because in the last meeting that Bob Iger had talked about it, he said that he wanted to keep it around the price point of basic Netflix as a starter pack.
So $10.
We're looking at about $8 or $9 to start off, and then there's going to be the tiered system, which will allow you to watch more, with the exception of ESPN. ESPN Plus will be a separate service that you can purchase just to watch sports.
Yeah.
That'll be good for me and Gavin.
Yeah.
Go
And
Jazz.
Melissa for Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, overall, the announcement is super exciting. Like I said, I do expect them to tie in a lot of the series a little bit more than they haven't in the past. And all the services, like Netflix is already losing those very slowly. They're not renewing the contract, so some of the movies have already dropped off. And, when you mentioned Plus Ultra earlier, Gavin, Tomorrowland, when it first came out, I enjoyed that film, but it wasn't a big hit for Disney. The message got a little convoluted halfway through the film, and, in the last quarter of the film, most people were just super confused, including me for a portion of it. So I have had to watch it a couple of times. But overall, I love the idea, and I love the idea of the Plus Ultra Society. And I think it's one of those properties, even though they didn't fully come up with it, but I think now that they have Disney Plus, it's one of those things where they could create like a mystery show surrounding the Plus Ultra Society that's kind of like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but doesn't necessarily have to do with Marvel. It's kind of like its own thing that ties into Disney history somehow.
Yeah.
And they can just make up stories, right? It doesn't have to be full, real Disney history. I just think that if they do it right, it's something that's based on reality, but is made up stories, like a Grey's Anatomy type show, right? Like, it's based in the fact that there are hospitals and there's all these doctors with real life issues, but all their stories are made up,
Yeah.
I would love to see a Plus Ultra show on Disney Plus. I'm just throwing that out there, Bobby. If you're listening, just, put a pin in that one.
That's
just saying.
a good idea. I like it.
All right. Well, if you guys have any ideas for any shows that you would like to see on the Disney Plus service, or any specific item from the Disney archive that you would like to see that's currently not available or available on a different service, join the conversation over on Instagram, Facebook, or on Twitter. Just search for Podketeers, or you can leave a comment on the blog post for the episode over at podketeers.com/230. We'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this, and we could read your comment on an upcoming episode.
Like how we're excited for High School Musical as well. Wildcats.
What's wrong with High School Musical? It's great.
I was in College Musical, not high school. Thank you.
I was in 5th grade musical, thank you. I was a tree.
You're a Groot.
I was Groot. I am Groot. All right. So, Downtown Disney is an area that needs a lot of love. And, over the past few months, we've seen some closures and we've seen some things reopening, like Earl of Sandwich. And now we've gotten word that the AMC theaters are reopening. No word on whether the Espen Zone or Rainforest Cafe are going to be reopening as of yet. But we thought it would be fun to kind of reimagine Downtown Disney, because Disney Springs over in Florida, formerly known as Downtown Disney, got an overhaul, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it has a lot of restaurants and entertainment that we kind of need here. And we've already seen some of the steps here at Downtown Disney with the revamping of the buildings. They're kind of giving them a more modern look. We're getting a couple of breweries. Ballast Point is going to be opening soon. We're also going to be getting Black Tap Craft Burgers and Beer, just across from where Ballast Point is going to be. So there are a lot of exciting changes happening in Downtown Disney, but we thought we'd give it a shot and imagine what we would like to see at Downtown Disney. So I think we should kind of do this round table. We each kind of throw out an idea. Who wants to be the first taker on this one?
I'll go first.
Oh, I can start. Oh,
You want to go first?
Sure.
All right, so we'll go Melissa and then VJ.
All right. So, I pretty much had this one idea, but it's pretty much taking from what we've had and what we do have, if that makes sense. I would like to see okay, let's just say money was no object. I'll start with that.
Spared no expense.
it's Disney. They have all the money.
Right. I actually would like to see a restaurant that, and I know we were just talking about this earlier, it has like a little bit of Rainforest Cafe, but I would like to take a little bit of afternoon tea, kind of bring a little bit of the Rose Garden, make like this Alice in Wonderland type of restaurant or an eatery where you would have your flamingos, because that would be one thing I would love to see here. And I've only seen that at Animal Kingdom. And I've seen Disneyland Paris have this, where they have their restaurant, and it's like, I want to say it's the Queen of Hearts, her maze. I mean, it just looks really, really cool.
Yeah.
I would love to see something like that in the Rose Garden, and I know there's a gazebo. Actually, there's two. So
Yeah, there's two of them.
let's use one, but kind of have it in that little area. Have it dainty. I mean, I'm going really girly on this. There's a lot of
I'd
other
go there.
places, but let's have something fun and whimsical out there. I just want to see flamingos.
Can we use a flamingo as a golf club?
No, that's abuse.
Now, are you thinking real flamingos?
Yeah.
Or are we thinking like audio animatronic flamingos?
No, real ones. Yeah.
Won't they fly away?
No, in Las Vegas, Flamingo Hotel has a little area has their birds out there.
Huh. I mean, that could be cool. I like the idea of an Alice in Wonderland themed anything. And a little place where you can go get tea and have a little crazy tea party with flamingos and
Yeah.
some whimsy. That would be awesome.
I would like to see that. I think it just needs some kind of Disney theming, right?
Something.
That'd be super cool to see. Yeah, I like that idea. VJ.
So am I only saying one thing at a time, or all my ideas?
Let's go round table. We'll just kind of spit out an idea, and we'll keep going around until we all run out, and we know Gavin's going to come up with 200. So we'll let
Well, I
him
have
just kind of unload at the
198,
end.
So, well, first thing, I know me and Gavin would love what they're bringing to Disney Springs, which is an NBA experience, and they should totally bring out the ESPN zone. Just saying, but that's
Word.
not my idea. What my idea is, I was kind of trying to bring it up with Melissa's idea with the flamingos, but a golf, like miniature golf, so you can have fun with the family. But that goes into a restaurant. I don't know what the restaurant theme would be. Maybe it could be an Alice in Wonderland theme. I don't know if you're using flamingos
Ford.
as fake flamingos, not actual flamingos.
That's clubs.
But that'd be kind of cool, though. If I was thinking miniature golf, but it'd be cool to make it Alice in Wonderland theme. We could tie it in, from the hotel into downtown Disney.
Yeah.
But that's not the idea. I'm just building off of Melissa's. But my thing would be, think Vegas Frontier Street.
I'm not familiar. Explain it to me.
Yeah, I'm not
Vic.
familiar either.
Okay, so Frontier Street is not really part of the original, or where the strip is now. It's kind of at the very end, so it was kind of losing a lot of foot traffic. So they built this huge tunnel-like screen.
Wait,
So the roof...
is this Fremont Street?
Oh, Fremont Street, sorry.
No
That's
problem.
what I meant. Anyway, Fremont Street. Have you heard of that, Hazen?
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
I've heard of Fremont Street.
Okay, but you don't know what it is? Like the old strip.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
they kind of had to revamp it. So think of like this huge ceiling, like curved ceiling coming from, say, AMC going into the parking lot. So it's this big, huge LCD screen that flashes everything from music to, movies or whatnot. And you could even zip line in between.
Oh,
Ooh.
You haven't
yeah.
Like nobody knows except for Melissa.
I'm all excited for
I've
it.
never been
No,
to
I mean,
Vegas.
I'm glad you're
so-
explaining this. This sounds pretty cool.
But yeah, if I'll show you a clip of it, or if you could find one, Hazen, to put on the website. But yeah, that's one of my ideas. So it kind of livens up that area of downtown, especially since it's we don't know anything that's going to be going there right now. So I think that would be cool. It also provides cover for if it ever rains in Southern California. But it's just a cool thing to see because it has all these different things flashing and showing and just, loud music. And I think it would be cool.
Yeah. And I mean, Disney's no stranger to creating the fake facades for things, especially skylines, right? Inside of Pirates of the Caribbean, that's what we see, especially when we're sailing through the bayou. I know that the Paris Hotel in Vegas has a painted sky, but that's an indoor thing. It's not outdoor. So, yeah, that would be pretty cool. I think that if there was some kind of dome, it would feel kind of Truman Show overall, but it would be cool, the visual, depending on what's happening. You could even project or display like fireworks if it was a huge LCD, right? And have a quote-unquote fireworks show at downtown Disney. So it would kind of be a multi-purpose item. So I thought that's a cool idea. I like that. Gavin, you want to go next, or you want me to jump in?
Either way.
All right, I'll jump in. One of the ideas that I had has to do with entertainment in general. For parents out there that have difficulty finding babysitters for their kids on a frequent basis, you kind of know, how difficult it is to get a little bit of time to do date night or something, right? And so there's been times that I've wanted to take my wife out just on a date, the two of us, but it's difficult to decide because, some of the that we'd like to go to are all the way in LA and we don't have a babysitter for that long. We're closer to Anaheim. And so by default, we kind of end up choosing Disney all the time, because it's our happy place and it's kind of what we know and we know what we're going to get overall. So at Disney Springs, they have something called the Edison. It's a gastropub that has live entertainment. And what I love about the Edison is that it's 21 and over. And after a specific time, there's a dress code, man. No jeans, no caps, nothing, no t-shirts. You got to go dressed in nicely for date night, okay? And I think Downtown Disney would greatly benefit from having a restaurant/entertainment venue that's 21 and over and has this type of environment. I mean, I love my kids, but sometimes you just need an hour or two for date night, right? And Disney is cool. There's a lot of different places you can eat, but for the most part, because it's so family friendly, if they had this one area at Downtown Disney where once you're done you can hop over to the parks if you wanted to, I think it would benefit greatly from something like that.
I think that's a fantastic idea. I love it. So would that kind of go, so like you have a place just for adults, but would you also mirror that with a place just for kids so that if you did bring the whole family, there could be like a place where your kids can go safely, like not like a daycare, but like a Disney fun time area where your like kids are like supervised and and there's some sort of activity or fun things for them to do while you're on your date.
I think so. I think, how in Hotel Transylvania, I know guys, not totally Disney, but how in Hotel Transylvania 3 when they're on the cruise, the wolves leave all their kids in that little daycare center on the ship. Yes, something like that, where you trust the people running the venue and, your kids are going to be fine just running around for 4 hours or whatever. But
or like IKEA.
I mean, I think it would be great if there was a way to reciprocate that for children.
I think that's fantastic. I mean, we talked about during our Disney nights discussion, if we had a special event night, I think most of us had like a 21 and over night that we wanted. No kids.
No strollers.
Yeah. That's the dream, right?
So it'd be kind of like, your idea is kind of like a big version of Auntie's beach house for kids.
Yeah, kind of.
Just drop off your kids, line up at 8 a.m. and drop them off and just take off to the parks.
Pick them up at 7 p.m. when you're ready for the luau.
Yeah. Sounds like something similar to us to the cruise.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Oh, do they have that at cruises?
I believe so. They have
plenty of them do.
Andy's.
Just throw them overboard.
No.
Oh, yeah. One of them has that Andy's
room,
toy box
room? Yeah.
place. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
I've seen pictures of that. Yeah, it looks really, really cool. Like, I'd go play there.
I think that would be really awesome here.
So then what we need is another one that's just a play area for adults.
Right.
Yes.
So that we don't accidentally bump into a kid going down a slide.
Exactly.
So your idea, Hazen, would you want the Edison or something like it? Or would it be different theme? Because Edison is kind of like that goth steampunk theme.
No,
like, would you have a certain theme?
I think, no, I just want something similar where it's live entertainment and it's 21 and over. I think there's a way to theme it to maybe fit in with Buena Vista Street and they kind of tie it into the story. And they could even take like the name or change the name of something that used to be around, around the area where the theater used to be. So it doesn't necessarily have to be the Edison. I like the idea of having an adult-only entertainment/eatery.
Something came into my head. The Tip Top Club.
Oh my God, yes!
There it is.
It just came up. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yes.
But you
That's
can't
it.
wear
You win,
Disney
Melissa.
costumes in
Let's
it.
do this.
Only
The
dapper
Tip Top
outfits.
Club at Downtown Disney.
Yeah, that could be cool. And that's a cool nod to something of, the park's past. That's
And we
great.
can even put it on the 13th floor. Ish.
I like it.
Forced perspective will make you go up 13 floors. It's really on the second.
Right.
So like a stretching room,
Like a stretching room effect from the outside. Like you see all these tiny floors and all these lights lighting up to make it count 13, but it's technically the second floor.
Just LCDs of just lights going up like this.
That's awesome. All right, Gavin, what do you got?
All right, so I love how everybody's minds are working here, and a lot of what you guys are thinking is kind of down the same track that I went as well. And really, aside from, we've talked about it before, in general, downtown Disney needs kind of a facelift. Everything about the facades of most of downtown Disney still feels like 2001, right? Mm-hmm. It all just kind of looks dated. So they need a general facelift. But in the spirit of Disney, I feel like a lot more theming needs to happen. And I would like to see more themed venues. And so obviously the first thing I think of, and many people think of when they think of downtown Disney, is the restaurants and the eateries, right? And I would love to see more restaurants. If they expand downtown Disney to maybe go into the footprint of the piece of land where the hotel that got canceled was going to be, they've got tons of room to expand here. And, VJ mentioned his idea going from basically ESPN Zone over towards the Mickey and Friends garage. So like if we're using that whole piece of land, we've got tons of room. I'd love to see a bunch of new restaurants, and I'd like themed restaurants. We've seen a lot of themed restaurants in the parks, but not necessarily Disney themed restaurants outside the parks. And I think it would be really cool to have some of that. You can have like a little French sidewalk cafe, with a lot of, areas for people watching, and it can be kind of themed on Ratatouille. You could have an Italian place, obviously themed on Tony's. You could even have a sushi place and theme it after Harryhausen's in Monsters, Inc. Like there's a ton of things like from the movies that you could kind of bring into a restaurant experience and, have lots of nods to the film, lots of little Easter eggs, and you kind of feel like you're having an actual Disney experience. I love places like the Naples pizza place and, Tortilla Joe's, but when I go into those places, I don't feel like I'm necessarily on a Disney property, and I feel like in downtown Disney, I still want to kind of feel that Disney magic. So I would love to have a lot more specifically themed restaurants where the theme is Disney. But the restaurant that I really want to see is this concept I have called the Animator's Table. Ooh. And it's kind of like the idea of like the chef's table where you kind of get to sit in the kitchen behind the scenes. The Animator's Table would be a restaurant where it's completely celebrating animation. I envision animated shorts, classics being projected, on the walls everywhere. I imagine the tables becoming animated at various points during your meal, and you're seeing, like rough animations and pages flip and then them turn into like real, fully realized animations, like right below your dinner plates,
And then the plates and dishes start singing and they tell you the gray stuff is delicious.
Yeah, be our guest. I mean, all this technology that they have now with screens and projections. I don't know if you guys have seen all of the movie posters that are behind the registers in the fully now opened World of Disney store. But there are all these old classic movie posters behind the registers, and at various times they become animated. And
oh, really? I didn't see that.
Yes, they're so fantastic. All the way from like black and white Mickey and Minnie shorts to Jungle Book to Aristocats. Like there's a whole range of posters, and they all become animated in different ways at different times. And so why not do that with your tabletop? And I don't know. I just feel like it could be a cool, contemporary design space, but with all kinds of nods to animation, which is kind of the reason that Disney is what it is. That's the core thing that built this entire empire, right? Is animation. And I would love a place that just celebrates that and the animators. And you could have all kinds of, you could have a 9 Old Men room, like for special occasions. And you could have like different booths or different areas dedicated to certain animators. Like you could have a Glenn Keane booth and all kinds of little special Glenn Keane animations, show up here and there throughout your dinner. I just think, to me, like that would be like a 4-star kind of highlight flagship place that you could make that would be a specific draw to bring people to downtown Disney. Because I think that's the key here is, drawing people to it for a specific reason. And even if it's just to pull some of the crowd out of the parks, for dinner time. I don't think that downtown Disney really does that right now to any real extent. And I think having real key attractions in downtown Disney would help do that. And I think they could really bring some foot traffic to downtown Disney with themed restaurants like this.
Very
nice.
Cool. I have some very similar thoughts. So when it's my turn again, I will touch on that.
Okay.
But I love that idea.
I also want to say that we're going to be swinging back to mini golf in a minute too, like VJ mentioned. So just wait for that one.
But yeah, man, this whole having different booths for different animators, that would be an amazing experience because it would feel that every time you go back, you get something a little bit different, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe it rotates, or maybe like every month they feature a brand new animator, so it doesn't go stagnant too quickly for people. So, man, dude, so good. All right, Mel, let's go back to you.
Oh, Gavin, you took one of my ideas, and I love it. I love it. I was thinking of, we don't have a sushi restaurant, and Harry Hossens would be awesome. But I want to kind of twist it to where, so inside Trader Sam's, it makes it look like you're in that world. So for Harry Hossens, imagine you're in that restaurant. You kind of hear a little bit, like you could kind of hear the kitchen. And I'm thinking of Monsters, how you could hear like the knives and whatnot, and just little things like that. While you're getting served your sushi. But what if, like, at a certain point, let's say they have 2 TVs and you start hearing that the child is missing. Just little touches like that. I think that'd be fun. I think it'd be really cool if they were make it like a little like interactive. Like, let's say they would have you fill out something like trying to find out where this kid is or something like that. But I would love to have a sushi place at downtown Disney for sure. And oh my God, I just thought of another idea, so I'm going to have to wait on my next one.
Well, I love your idea of kind of incorporating the story. But what if instead of doing that story that's similar to the attraction and the movie, but we do it as if the ending of that movie actually really plays out, in which the monsters discover that they get better power from children's laughter.
Yeah.
And what if the goal of the waiters is to make the kids laugh? And if they can trigger a laugh in the kid, they've got a button or something that they push, and like the lights over the table like glow extra bright when they laugh.
That's
like some
awesome.
sort of magic that they can make happen. Or like, thanks, you powered our restaurant,
So kind of
I
like
think
the
that
Laugh
could be
Factory
really cool.
at Tomorrowland.
Yeah,
Magic
exactly.
Kingdom. That'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly. So if they can do that on an individualized level where the waiter tries to make, the kid laugh and then it causes some sort of magic to happen, that could be sweet.
And with the app and Disney bands and stuff like that, all the technology that currently exists, it's super easy to track somebody, where they would know, or they can talk to the parent in advance and say, hey, I would like to add my child to the pool of possible children that need to make the waiters laugh this evening. And then you can play out, like Melissa was saying, where we're trying to find this child has disappeared into the restaurant. And so people start pointing him out. There he is, there he is, there he is. And that's how they go find the specific child that has to laugh for that evening.
Nice.
So kind of like the Rebel Spy for Star Tours.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Man, I think that could be really cool.
And tourists don't know what's going on. They're like, why do they keep chasing my child?
Well, no, it's an opt-in thing, right? When you walk in,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
put
you
your
can
name
sign them
down
up.
and you can say, yes, I would love my child to be one of the children considered to be the child of the day.
That'd be cool if it was a birthday thing. So you could choose your child for a birthday.
Yes.
And that'd be a cool thing, like way better than Chuck E. Cheese. Like you could have a cool experience, you know?
Let's be honest, a lot of things are way better than Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking Chuck E. Cheese when I used to go. It used to be the
Oh.
best thing ever.
That's true.
That's because you were 7.
Yeah, during my day.
Well, that is an awesome idea, Melissa. I love that. I know my kids would certainly love having an experience like that. VJ, let's jump back to you now.
Okay, so just put a little more detail into Fremont Street. It's play shorts, like Disney shorts, but it's the length of 5 football fields, just to give you a little detail into it. But I want to tie in that into an alleyway of it kind of looks like houses. And I was either thinking something like maybe it could be like the World Showcase of Westcott, you know, like that version where maybe different theme restaurants in those 2 alleyways. But I was trying to tie in the Osborne lights and just have that year round because it's not at Epcot and or at Hollywood Studios anymore, and they need to have it somewhere. But it'd be cool to see Christmas all year round just to get that feeling, you know. But one of the restaurants I want to tie into is again a theme restaurant, like Gavin was saying, but I'm picturing a buffet style thing. Kind of going to Vegas, buffets are my biggest thing because they have such awesome food. And
Preach.
yes, it's they have different costs, but no matter which one you go to, you're going to have like a great experience.
Right.
And I know we have our character dining experiences at the different, places at the Disneyland Resort, but this one's going to be huge. But I want it to be themed like the Lost Boys. Think Hook, where it's like you're imagining all the foods, but you see so many different types of food, like 300 different types of cuisines, because it's just a grand thing. And communal tables where maybe you could, meet other people, not just separate yourselves from just your party. Because that's one of the things I like going to restaurants like in San Francisco. You have big communal tables where you get to meet a lot of different people, and you're Disney, you're at Disneyland, so you're going to meet Disney fans, and you might even just meet other people.
Right.
But a big super buffet would be my thing at one of these restaurants. But theme it kind of like Neverland, where you're in, on Neverland and eating all these cool foods and just whatever themes there are. Like you'll see fairies fly by or whatnot, So I think
We're all
that'd be cool.
Lost Boys at that restaurant.
Yeah, there you go.
Ah,
Oh, maybe everybody could even have like the kids. Well, I don't know. It'd probably be a bad thing for kids. Like let's all give them like swords so they could sword fight and
yeah.
make believe. Maybe not that, but the food is again the big thing. So that's what I would like to see.
I feel as the parent of 2 children that at times can get fairly rowdy, I want to veto that idea. That's cool, man. I like that. I love the Neverland theme too. I love the communal space. Oh man, which one should I go with? Well, since you guys are all talking about food, and this is considering the space. I know we're kind of talking if money and space were no object, but I'm going to actually consider the space that's available right now. Anyone here in the area knows about the Anaheim Packing House. The Anaheim Packing House is a multi-floor building that just has tons of restaurants and eateries and different dessert places. And it just all looks like little modules that are inserted into this giant building. And so if we were taking space into consideration into what currently exists at Downtown Disney, I think that maybe behind the AMC or something like that, you can build like a mini Anaheim Packing House or maybe a larger one, and then just have multiple levels of different types of little craft eateries and maybe some craft beers and little gastropubs and stuff. So just having more places to sit down and eat is never a bad thing.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I think
More
that's
food.
fantastic. It seems like they're kind of trying to do that in miniature ways with like Ballast Point and Black Tap coming in. But what you're talking about is like basically a mall filled with places like that.
Basically, yes.
And that would be a lot of fun. And again, I think that would be a big draw to downtown Disney, you know? I think it's a fantastic idea.
Sweet. All right, Gavin.
Okay, so we teased it before, miniature golf. I had the same thought. I think there should be more in the way of activities that you can go to downtown Disney to do. You know, they've brought in the Void for that VR experience. They've brought in Splitsville. You can do a little bowling. And so I started thinking about, other kind of more retro but family fun ideas like bowling. And of course, I landed on miniature golf. And my idea here would be mini golf hosted by Minnie Mouse. And it would be a fully themed, in the tradition of Disney theming, fully themed miniature golf course. There would be two main courses. The one course will be based on Disney attractions. So imagine, putting your way through miniature versions of famous Disneyland and DCA and even maybe parks around the world attractions. Obviously you're going to have like a Sleeping Beauty castle that you got to putt through, some sort of pirates attraction, a mansion, putting your way through the graveyard, something. But I'm talking like an indoor, like fully themed area. So like with transitions and everything. So you walk from one hole to the next and it's like you're stepping into a miniature version of each attraction. The other course would be based on Disney movies. So these would be, famous locations within Disney movies that we don't necessarily see in the parks. So like put your way through Agrabah.
Ooh.
Or even Arendelle.
Nice.
Maybe go have a San Francisco themed hole.
Nice.
Things like that where it's like, whoa, I'm in Big Hero 6 and I'm playing miniature golf. This is amazing. I think they could do wondrous things. I've been to some pretty dope miniature golf courses in my life with some pretty cool theming. But, if you think about, what they did with Pandora, the World of Avatar, and Cars Land, and what we've seen from Galaxy's Edge so far, if they bring that attention to detail and immersive theming to a miniature golf course, huge attraction. I think that would be amazing. And everybody loves putt-putt. I just think it'd be a cool thing to draw people to downtown Disney, as an activity, which I don't think there's enough activities that you can do there. It's basically just sitting and spending your money right now, except for bowling and the one VR experience that they've done so far. So adding another activity, I think, would be key to increasing the general draw to that area.
Yeah. And especially with having things like Galaxy's Edge coming up, Disney really needs to find a way to begin to pipe guests into other areas of the park, which is a big reason why we're getting the Mickey ride in Toontown, right? Because they need to find a way to alleviate the crowds that are going to be going into that back area of the park. So if people get fast passes and they know that they're guaranteed entry, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours from the point that they get there, then they can go play miniature golf, or they can go do something else, something that's activity based and not just eating based at downtown Disney. Super fun and a great way to pass the day.
Yeah.
Or they could also go somewhere else in the park, but I'm just saying.
Right. And like VJ and Melissa were talking about earlier, all of the clubs could be like, we could have little flamingo clubs. We could have little weird themed putters that you could use, like Mary Poppins umbrella.
Ooh.
Or,
yes.
lots of random Disney things could be turned into little putters that you can use. So everything can be themed. And I think they could just go wild. They could totally blue sky it. And I would be all on board for that.
That would
Super
be
great
cool.
idea. Yeah, love it.
Sorry, I was laughing earlier because all I could think of for Agrabah is using carpet as a club.
Rolled up.
Yeah, it could be a little rolled up carpet. Sure. Why not?
Oh, they could have a genie. as a club, like his face on it.
Yeah.
Oh
help you
yeah, totally.
But then you
That
get
would
stuck.
work.
I was laughing because I was thinking, oh, there's going to be a bunch of sand. And you're just going to be sand traps. You're like,
Or
oh,
it could be
man.
like Jafar's staff.
Yeah,
with the
that's a
cobra?
good one.
Like my idea for a lad would also be maybe putting through the Cave of Wonders. Like, so you got to go into the mouth of the cave, and then like your second stroke is somewhere within the cave. Like, I'm talking like fully immersive. Like, you got to walk into the Cave of Wonders and continue your shot.
Nice.
Man, that would be sweet.
Yeah.
Can we get fast passes for this thing? Or
Book your
I'm sure it'll need
reservations
it.
now.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll need it at some point.
knowing as
Melissa.
Disney fans.
Okay.
Back to you.
My brain just started just pumping up with something that I was like, why didn't I think of this before? I miss doing this. I miss dancing. Why don't we have a club that kind of takes place at the party that Ernesto de la Cruz was having before his Sunrise Spectacular?
Oh man, that's super cool.
I would love to be at that party and imagine, like, I'm sorry, just take away tortilla joes, have it there. You could still serve them the food and whatnot, but the music, the atmosphere, I really do miss having that.
Would you get rid of Ernesto or have him be a part of it?
Let's have a statue. Let's have that sign that says "Forget You," and we're good.
Nice.
I would have that.
21 and over experience?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Yes.
That's cool. I'm down.
Let's have
That
it. It's,
is
a nightclub type of thing. After 7, 8, have it open. Good.
that's a ridiculously good idea.
Yeah.
I love that. I would love to step inside his mansion and just
Yeah.
have that club music going. Oh man, that'd be so much fun.
Can I sidebar on the idea of a club? This is not my idea, but can I sidebar on that? It just made me think about it right now. What if we just had a general nightclub that using projections every night puts you into a different Disney film, like in 3-dimensional form? So it builds the mansion, or it builds a haunted mansion, or it builds the bayou, or it builds whatever.
The grid.
Yeah,
Oh
but
my
like the
God.
entire building using projections and 3D modeling basically puts you in a nightclub themed after different films every single night.
And every night could be a different theme with different music to
Yeah.
that theme. Holy crap.
We're really blue skying it now, kids. We're on fire.
I'm in. I'm so in.
Can I DJ one of these nights?
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say VJ's got to be the installed DJ at this place.
But I'm not wearing white rabbit ears.
We'll have Wendy and VJ just alternate.
I love it.
That's cool.
All right, VJ, back to you.
Well, spinning off of the whole music idea, I was actually thinking of bringing back something kind of like House of Blues, where if it's not a nightclub, then at least performances, Because that's one thing I definitely miss House of Blues. I mean, Splitsville is all right. I wish it was better, but I just miss the atmosphere of House of Blues, especially when there's performers that you want to see. And then also like a mini amphitheater outside, an outdoor venue,
That would be great.
That'd be cool. So, because they have a mini one at Disney Springs. I mean, mostly it's for DJs and like a cappella groups, but maybe a little bit bigger where it's a ticketed item, or maybe you're just going to see some people perform, like anything, any band, any type of band, but a better performance stage than they have right now in front of the old ESPN zone, because they get some cool bands, but they just don't have the speakers or, the attendance that draws crowds. So
Yeah.
something the size of the American Pavilion at Epcot at World Showcase, something like that, because it's not too big, so it's perfect for people to come in and see good shows.
I like it.
I like it.
You know the shape of the Hollywood Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Like that half clamshell crescent shape that it has? Behind Splitsville, there's this huge area that's going unused right now after they tore down House of Blues. And there's just kind of a fence right now, but nobody knows exactly what's going to go there, if anything is going to go there. That would be a perfect place for like that clamshell style amphitheater where people like it's elevated and then people can just stand around in front of Splitsville or in that back area and just watch bands perform.
Yeah.
That's an ideal location to have that.
Yeah, I agree.
That'd be
I
cool.
think this is kind of my thoughts on any performances that they plan within or without the parks. They need to create a space for it. You know, I love that Disney is a place where you can go and for the price of admission, you can see a dozen live performances throughout the day. Places like that don't exist.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing that you can go from watching the Dapper Dans to watching Mickey and the Magical Map to watching the Frozen musical all in one day, and it's just included in your admission. I love that. But the things that they do where they're just saying, oh, in this walkway now, we're going to do this whole Christmas celebration, and it totally clogs up the whole, pedestrian, movement through that area. I want them to create spaces. So the idea of them creating a specific performance space like an amphitheater, I love it. I think it's fantastic because it doesn't create a bottleneck and it creates a cool thing to draw people to. And, amphitheaters just have better sound than, flat ground.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, I think that's a great idea. And it is way better than that dinky little stage in front of the ESPN zone, which is kind of embarrassing.
It'd be cool too if they don't want the traffic jam of just people just watching this performance. They could just pump in the performance throughout all of downtown Disney with monitors, so you could kind of see what's going on too. So you see the performance, but you're not missing the performance. You know what I mean? So it doesn't. So if they have security guards saying you got to keep going, they're not going to be like, well, I want to see. Well, you have all of downtown Disney. Just keep walking, you'll hear it.
Right.
And they do pipe music.
Yeah.
Through downtown Disney, so it would make sense.
So if they had bands performing like every hour, that'd be cool.
And see, this comes back to your idea, VJ, where you wanted the screens overhead. They could
there you
put
go.
the feet up there. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Totally.
All right, well, before I go on with my idea, I mean, these are super great, but before we go on, I just want to remind you guys that this episode of Podketeers is brought to you by listeners just like you. We like to call those listeners our podcast fairy godparents, but they like to call themselves the FGP Squad. And if you would like a little bit more information about how you can become a member of the FGP Squad, head on over to podketeers.com/FGP for a little bit more information. You can become a member for as little as $1 a month. But for a $5 contribution monthly via Patreon, you can receive the exclusive Fairy Godparent button as a thank you for your support. And to everyone that's part of the FGP Squad, we just want to send out a huge thank you to all of you. Okay, so going on with these ideas, my brain is scrambling, okay, because it's just so much like goodness is coming out of this. I don't even know where to start with this one. Okay, so you guys know I love trains, right?
Mm-hmm.
So love model trains. If I had the money and the space to build like a little model train set in my backyard or something, I would totally do it. This was years ago, down in Culver City, there was this great train store called Allied Model Trains. And maybe about 3 years ago, there was like a fire or something like that, and it kind of destroyed the building.
Aww.
It was this great little building, old school Art Deco, but inside they had these tremendous model trains, and they had these cities built and all these trains, and there was all this kinetic energy just going around the entire building, and I loved it. I fell in love with that place. I would install a model and miniature train store inside of downtown Disney that's specialized in rebuilding the Disney parks from around the world. So you had the option of buying monorails or each of the different trains from the parks, and you could buy each of the pieces the way that at Hallmark stores, you used to be able to buy like the little houses and build your own little Christmas villages, right? But this one would only have like the Matterhorn or the submarine ride, or something that represents each area, and you could build whatever era of the park you wanted. Like they would have, here's all the pieces that build 1955 Disneyland. Here's all the pieces that build 1990 Disneyland. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
then you get to choose how you want to build it. And they even have a cool way to link them all up so that the train basically travels through every single park if you have the space, time, and money to put it all together. But that's something that's near and dear to my heart, and if I had a choice, I would love to have a model train store inside of downtown Disney.
That's fantastic, because it also, ties into that legacy of Walt's love of trains, and the other animators and Imagineers that kind of got him into that. And man, you could have history in that store, and the idea of having like this collector version of these trains, like you could even have like smaller sets where if you just want a little train that just goes around the Matterhorn, you can have that if that's all you've got. Man, that's a fantastic idea. I love it.
Can this be a store where you could also ride the mini train like Walt had at his house that goes around
like the one
all
at
the
Carol's?
Oh my God.
Like the one at Walt's barn?
Because I thought, because I was thinking you were going to go that route. I was like, I want to ride the train. Like every time I go to Walt Disney Family Museum, I'm like, you can just sit on it right there. That's where he sat, So that'd be cool.
We
if
can
you
go
could,
to Walt's barn and ride a mini train there.
Oh, what I wanted at downtown Disney, dude.
Oh no, I'm totally agreeing with you.
Well, I'm just saying, at your store, you could enter and get on trains there and do little runs, or maybe 4 different tracks around the Disneyland Resort.
Yes, I'm for it. I am for it.
That's amazing. Yeah, and of course they would have like the most fully realized, model of Disneyland with these trains going around it with like lights, and man, it would. That sounds so cool. And even like the little attractions would be like operating.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just go and look at that, for an hour. That'd be great. It's a great diversion.
How about if they had a mini monorail you could ride on top of too?
Why not?
That would be great. Great.
Oh,
Man, that's a good one.
All right, Gavin, back to you.
Okay, well, that kind of actually transitions me perfectly into one of my other ideas, because I think that especially if we're playing on the idea that we're expanding the size, the footprint of downtown Disney to kind of wrap around and extend out towards Mickey and Friends parking structure, that's a lot of area, and it becomes kind of a long walk to get from one end to the other. So I would like to install some sort of transportation that also adds kind of a visual dynamic to the whole, hustle and bustle of downtown Disney. We've kind of described Tomorrowland right now as kind of lacking a bit of that. Really ever since the People Mover left, there's not a lot of real motion within Tomorrowland like there used to be. And I would like to see some of that in downtown Disney. And, I love the idea of some sort of a Skyway tram, that goes up and down. I'd love to see something like that where maybe there can be multiple stops along the way. Like it'd be cool if there was like, a stop at each end and maybe 2 in the middle. And I'm thinking like a new system of Skyway where you can kind of pull a rope like you would on a bus, and your car would kind of descend on its own little track towards that exit if you wanted to get off there. And then it could rejoin the main track, once you got off it, something like that, to where you didn't have to just ride it until the end and then get off, but you could actually use it as a transportation system, get on and off where you wanted to. Even if they had like a little like monorail system, like a suspended little monorail with smaller cars that just kind of zipped around through downtown Disney and dropped you off at certain points, just something to kind of get you to and fro a little faster, and gives the whole area more of a, kinetic energy of things kind of zipping above you. I think it would be cool to have something like that. And, I've talked about it before with Hazen. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the podcast, but I feel like the monorail it's kind of a misused concept right now. I'd love it if it stopped in both parks, or if they actually made it either use it as transportation or an attraction, an entertaining ride. And right now it's kind of caught in the middle of being neither. It takes you to the one spot in downtown Disney, but not a lot of people really use it for transportation. They kind of use it as a ride, but there's not much to it, and it spends half its time in the trees north of the Matterhorn, and you don't really see anything. And I feel like they could do something more. And in downtown Disney, if it's going to cover a huge area, I feel like they could really incorporate something neat that is fun to ride, fun to look at, and useful.
Yeah. It's funny. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to quickly jump in with one of my ideas, but since Gavin kind of talked about it, I'll just tack it onto his. One of mine was to have a little bit more kinetic energy inside of downtown Disney, but my idea was to have like the up house kind of flying over from building to building, or having these different elements that we know that we've seen in the parks just kind of happening around downtown Disney to add some of that Disney magic that you talked about earlier in the episode. And then also having like a little mini monorail or like a tiny people mover just for that nostalgia factor and to have some stuff moving around. It wasn't necessarily for transportation purposes when I thought about it. I just thought it would be cool to have those elements moving around so that it wasn't so static every time that you looked up.
I love that idea. And it kind of goes with, VJ's idea. If you have some sort of thing overhead with projections and animations and videos, that would do the same thing,
Right.
Something that gives it a lot of life, things happening. I think all of these things play into that idea just from different angles.
Right.
You kind of touched on it, Hazen, but you know how Disney Springs has the hot air balloon?
Yeah.
We should do it up house. Hot air balloon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A house that goes up and down. You're like, oh my God, that's cool.
That would be
I would love it.
fantastic.
Imagine the photo op for so many people.
Yeah.
And then people are just looking up. It's Kevin. He's on top of the house. That'd be dope.
That would be cool.
Nice.
All right, Melissa, back to you.
Oh, so I was kind of thinking about this, and I'm kind of taking a little bit of your idea of having something for the kids, but let's reverse it, and let's say it's for the parents, particularly the moms. But I'm thinking of, I love how you have, you got the Void, which is really, really cool. VR is awesome. VR can also take you away from somewhere and be like, wow, like for a few minutes, you kind of forget about your worries and whatnot. So I was thinking, let's have this experience. And I was thinking back of something that Innoventions had long time ago, where they had these like little mini rooms, and they had this screen in front of you, and it took you to somewhere else, and you were able to experience something like you went to another location. So I was thinking that times, mix in a little bit of Soarin', you get to lay down on a hammock, and that scene in Lilo and Stitch where Nani and Lilo are just, I know it's sad, but let's just say you were there. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in Hawaii to just get away from any stress? Because I do see it sometimes at the parks, and I do see moms. I feel for you, moms. I see you, trying to handle your situation whichever way. I mean, I think it'd be pretty cool to have like kind of a wellness thing where...
So kind of like a meditation room?
Yeah, but...
With a VR experience?
Yes.
It's like, Calgon, take me away. Put this goggles on.
Like a,
And you would...
maybe like a futuristic spa?
Yes. Thank you. That's pretty
A
much
day
it.
spa.
But you have your backgrounds of you're either, in Hawaii, you're there, or you're either floating over Neverland, or just the happy endings you would think of in the Disney films.
So different Disney experiences virtualized.
Yeah.
So it's like you could be in some like fancy palace in Asgard and Thor is like
Yes.
massaging your back.
Feeding you grapes.
Yes, count me in.
I could hear, ladies, if you hear me and you understand, let us know.
I can already
Or the
hear it.
guys, hey.
So, Gavin, you seem a little tense.
What would you think
Yes.
of, Melissa, what would you think of a women's version of the Bippity Boppity Boutique? Like, you get pampered as a princess. Not like do like the whole experience, but like you have the princess experience where you're just getting waited on hand and foot. You know what I mean? Kind of like a meditation room.
Like a Disney-bound makeover.
That I like. Just something for them to just take away from the
pixie
stress.
dusted. Yeah.
Mm.
You just ring a bell.
You're right.
You rang.
And the
pretty
kids could be
dope.
in that, in that location that we spoke about earlier. Mom could be over here. Everyone wins.
Yeah.
I love it.
It'd be like, hey, we're going to make your kids into your servant. It's like Mother's Day all over again.
Right.
But how it should be.
I will bypass all of that if my kids just mow the lawn. I'll be happy with that.
That's
Awesome.
funny.
That's awesome. I love that idea. VJ.
So, one of the cool experiences I'm looking forward to when we go to Tokyo, it's not Disney related, but have you guys seen this the Mario Kart thing in Tokyo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you get to
Oh.
drive around as it's like a real human life Mario Kart. I was thinking of a
serious?
go-kart experience.
Yeah, dude, it's super cool.
Right? But a go-kart experience that goes around the Disneyland Resort, but when you're wearing the helmets, you dress up as the characters. So you can have a helmet with Mickey ears or Minnie ears or Donald Duck's.
It's like Mickey and the
Fauntleroy.
Roadster Racers.
That
Yeah,
would be
exactly.
awesome.
Wow.
Oh my god.
But you
This is
actually get to
fantastic.
race a couple of the characters. So you'll actually see characters driving with you.
yes.
And there'll be professional ones where you're really trying to beat them.
That is... where can I sign
Yeah,
up
right?
for this?
and more importantly,
Autopia, eat your heart out.
See, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, get rid of Autopia. Let's make a real go-kart track. But it's only
And
for
more
certain
importantly-
ages. No young
Sure,
kids.
yeah.
more importantly, they can make it so that it's an actual like circuit tournament.
Yeah.
Where people get prizes. Like you
Yeah.
actually qualify and you move up in the tournament.
Yep.
Nice. I love it.
Oh my
this is
gosh.
the best.
Instead of throwing
All right,
bananas,
build
can
it.
we throw like Mickey waffles at them? I mean,
That's hilarious.
That'd be cool. I mean, that'd be cool if it was a digital version of that. Like you could actually shoot like banana peels or whatever, or
Yeah.
Mickey waffles.
Mickey
and
ice
it
cream,
takes away
Dole
points.
Whips.
It'll take away time away from your lap time or something. So it'll be like
Yeah.
strategic at the same time. That'd be cool.
That's cool.
let's make
So
this.
good. Oh, you're ahead.
love
Here's
it.
some gray stuff.
I love it.
Where
If
you
there's a
drive-
second
Oh.
version where you can race light cycles on the grid,
Oh my God.
then it's even better.
Man. This, you know what? Honestly, that just feels like a movie. Remember The Wizard? It's like I feel like this is just one giant video game that we're playing out, and at the end it's like, I present to you Disney Kart Racer.
You have a power glove.
I love
Oh
it.
my gosh, that was
Oh,
just on
man.
recently too, like a couple months ago.
It's such a good movie. It's such a classic. I love it. Gavin.
All right. Well, I have one last main idea, which I'll drop on you guys. I think we could go on for hours and hours and hours, but I like having the AMC theater down there. However, I feel like they could do so much more with it. First of all, the theater really needs to be modernized. It is kind of an older, like a last generation style movie theater. I would love it if they brought it into the new era of movie theaters where more food and drink is involved. They could have certain areas that are 21 and over, like balconies, and waiters come and serve you while you watch movies. Have a real kind of primo movie experience like we've all seen at other theater chains. And I also feel like they're missing a huge built-in Disney audience that is always present, and forget having, 20 screens and, as all movie theaters do, taking a gamble on, 15 movies that who knows if they're going to be any good. They could have half their screens playing classic Disney movies. Have it be matinee prices all day for Disney movies, but just, bring us Robin Hood on the big screen. Bring us Sleeping Beauty on the big screen. And you've got an audience there that if the park's crowded, or if it's their, their chill out afternoon while on their vacation and they just want to either sit by the pool or go see a movie, they're going to pay to go see these movies on the big screen. I know I would. I absolutely would, because how many of the older movies have we ever had the chance to see like that? Yeah. And you put it in a nice theater, everything's been remastered these days, so everything's going to look great, and everything's going to have, digital sound that is blowing our minds. And man, I think they always miss the boat with AMC Theater down there, because, it was just a regular movie theater. And I think if they gave it some real Disney attention and, show the new big hits, even if they're non-Disney on, half your screens, but save the other half to, it's basically a permanent Disney film festival.
I love it.
I love it.
I love it, especially because Disney has done AP viewings of certain movies like Robin Hood and whatnot, and those events sell out so fast. So that would be really, really, really good. I would so love that.
Where I came from, there was a movie theater that we always used to go to for all the big releases. And there was a main auditorium, where the peasants sat. And then there was a balcony above that, which was 21 and over. And it was like reclining chairs, with heated seats, and then like
so
tables in between. And they would serve you, you would order dinner and drinks. And, if you needed refills, you would just push a little button in your chair and a waiter would pop up and, bring you something in the middle of the movie. And I'm talking like full on Prince and Princess treatment while you watch a classic Disney movie.
Yes. All of that all night. Yes.
He said peasants. Look at them eating their popcorn.
Well, I'm up here with my steak.
Right.
You and your nachos.
What
Is that
be
plastic
really
cheese?
Cool is if they had like Disney food, Disney snacks.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
I'd watch a movie and eat a Dole Whip.
A churro.
Or a churro.
Oh, that's
absolutely.
messy.
For this. All right.
Churro bites.
Melissa and VJ, do you guys want to throw one more out before we conclude this?
I had one more just fun idea.
Go for it.
Kind of like if you ever watch sports, Hazen, how they have the pre-games where all the specialists are talking about what's going to happen. I want a booth at downtown Disney just for Podketeers to broadcast live.
Yes.
We can set that up now. I don't know how long they'll let us stay.
No. It's official.
We can do it now.
But you can see us sitting at the top with people walking across.
With glass and
like
everything.
How Good Morning America, where they have hold up signs.
Yeah. Let me talk to Bobby. I'm sure we can get that set up.
So it'll be on YouTube Live, or it'll stream on the Disney Plus app.
Yes. Podketeers Plus. Melissa, do you have any more before we wrap up?
No, because I'm so excited about everyone's ideas, and it's been fun.
Awesome.
And I want them to happen.
Okay. Well, like Gavin, I did have a handful more of ideas that I wanted to share, but I think just to go along with something that you guys said earlier about the Disney theming, I would love to see Downtown Disney's version of a partner statue.
Yes.
Or something, some kind of copper in the middle of, the walkway that signifies, yes, this is a Disney location, like a statue of Mickey, kind of like the one in front of the Disneyland hotels. Something that signifies, yes, you're on Disney property, because you're right, we don't have enough of that. That wasn't the main idea that I wanted to share before I wrap up. The one that I would love to see is anyone that ever went to the Disneyland Hotel years ago might remember that there was these amazing waterfalls and this grotto that you can walk underground and you can kind of experience the waterfalls from underneath. It had different lights like purples and blues, and it just kind of glowed at night. It was this beautiful, amazing sight. And during one of the renovations, they just got rid of that waterfall area, and it was dry for a really long time, but it wasn't used. And so it was one of the beautiful things of the hotel that I think can get repurposed at Downtown Disney.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this 2-level thing almost. But if you see, I'll put pictures of it in the blog post for the episode, podketeers.com/230 if you've never seen it before. But it was absolutely gorgeous. And I think, one, it brings a little bit more dynamic elements to the middle of Downtown Disney. During the summer, all of that water would help kind of dissipate the heat so it wouldn't get so hot in the area. And super cool photo ops.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Nice.
So, oh, look, Downtown Disney's rock waterfall wall. So I'm just saying. I would add something like that to it just because it looks so damn pretty.
I was going to say, you just said it, but it was one of my ideas. Just more picture walls in between stores. And maybe rotating themes too, you know?
That'd be cool.
So I wanted to add on to your idea, Hazen. And I love that. I wish I had seen that before, the waterfalls. We gotta have one. We gotta have a photo op for the backside of water.
You do?
You do.
Yeah,
cool.
definitely.
You definitely do. All right, well, if you guys have any ideas about how you would love to see Downtown Disney spruced up and plussed up, join the conversation over on Instagram, Twitter, and on Facebook. Just search for us. We are Podketeers. That's PODKETEERS. It doesn't have an A. So most people that think it's Podketeers, it's not. It's really Podketeers. Just saying. So search for us on all of those social networks. If you want to connect with any of us on any of our personal social networks, head on over to podketeers.com/team. There you will find all of our personal links so you can connect with us. You can also leave a comment in the blog post for the episode over at podketeers.com/230. Also a great way to connect with us. Or you can send us an email to comments@podketeers.com. Your comment may come up in a future episode. Also, before we wrap up, just want to remind you that with the holidays coming up, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and all that good stuff, and all the holiday shopping that you are going to be doing, if you shop on Amazon, remember to help us out a little bit this holiday season and start that journey by going to podketeers.com/Amazon. Because when you get there, you'll find this huge Amazon button. I mean, it's not that
huge.
big, but it's big.
How huge?
And if you click on it, it'll take you over to Amazon using our special link. That tells Amazon that you heard about our link through the podcast. You're going to pay exactly the same prices, but we do get a thank you commission from Amazon for your patronage by going through our link. To everyone that's already doing that, thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for this episode. Is there anything else you guys want to drop in before we wrap up and Gavin can run back for his Fast Pass?
No,
I'll
let's
let
talk
Gavin
more.
go play.
I'll push stop.
Crickets.
Nothing trumps the Fast Pass.
All right, guys, so that is going to wrap it up. So until next week, here is to Beer Shears and Mickey Ears. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Happy holidays.
Made you look.